What's good, everybody? My name is Cole, and welcome back to Cole Sports. And today, I got a little big board for you for the 19th overall pick for the Washington football team. I get 7 players that Washington football team could take if they're still available. And I kind of went for players that could still be available at this position. And so, let's go ahead and talk about it. So before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more Washington football team content, especially in this month of April. More draft profiles for the Washington football team. It will be coming out for players that the Washington football team could draft, and obviously my draft reactions. So with let's go ahead and start with the number 7 player I got on here. And that's Mac Jones. And now I know lots of people are telling me, we shouldn't, or you probably just clicked off the video. But, I don't believe he'll be available. But when people are saying he could be picked by the Patriots at the 15th overall pick, there's a chance he could be falling to 19. And I truly believe he could fall to 19. And if the Washington football team really does believe they still need a quarterback of the future, and they believe Mac Jones can be that quarterback of the future, let him sit behind, let him sit a year behind Ryan Fitzpatrick. Develop that O line. You're really developing that the offensive weapons this year, and kind of just cure everything for Mac Jones to be great, because obviously we don't know how good he will be without less weapons. So now that we have ties like Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Adam Humphries, if we do some out, we won't know if we have him next year, but you kind of know what I mean. But Antonio Gibson, Logan Thomas, possibly a new another tight end, and kind of just sit him into that great offense. He might be able to really play well, and obviously our defense can just do the rest. So it's really not that weird of a pick if you really think about it, especially how Washington is really just molding their team right now. Next 6 is Trevor Moore, safety out of TCU. Now I like Trevor Moore. I think he is the best safety in this draft class, but we do need a safety. But I kind of believe safety is a little bit too high at 19, but I could very well see us going there. Now I don't think we will, but I would be fine if we did go Trevor Moore with the 19th overall pick. He's great in zone. He's great covering players. He's not gonna let too many people really just get away from him when he's locked down on somebody. So that's one big thing. He's not really gonna let somebody just fly past him. He has great what am I trying to say? He has great play on the ball skills. When the ball's in the air, he needs to make a play on it, to knock the ball away. He can for sure do that. Right at that. So Trevor Moore is a great safety. I believe the number 1 safety in this draft class. But I don't necessarily think he would be the right pick here at 19. I think he'll go probably early second, in my opinion. And there could be safeties in the later rounds that could just be not necessarily better, but kind of just serviceable. And that's all we need possibly at the free safety side. And then eventually Cam Crow will be taking over that strong safety side, and we'll see what happens with Landon Collins over the next few years. But Trevor Moore, I think this could be the pick, but I don't necessarily see it. Next 5, Rashad Bateman. Great receiver. My number 4 receiver. He just played absolutely amazing in Minnesota, and I've been mocking him to us way before the free agency. But obviously, since free agency rolled around, we signed Curtis Samuel, we signed Adam Humphrey, and there's just really no point of really going after a receiver. But I still have him on here because Adam Humphries, that's a 1-year deal. Then we could possibly pair him up with Terry McLaurin and Rashad Bateman. Have that duo going for the future. You'll see what happens with Curtis Samuel. But I just don't think necessarily we need a receiver, but he is on the board just because of how good of a player he is and how good of a receiver he is, when he could and more probably will be available here at the receiver position. So yeah, again, nothing to say too much about there, because I don't think we'll draft him. But And next, the top 4 players. I think all these guys can fall to 19. I think at least 3 of these guys will be at 19, and I think for sure, and I wouldn't be mad at drafting all 4 of these last 4 guys. So let's go ahead. Samuel Cosme off the tackle from Texas. Now I think I want to say he played more on the right side, but I think he can for sure play on the left side. He would be a great tackle to really develop into a great right tackle or left tackle. Have him start at left tackle if you really want. Morgan Moses retires, move him at right, try to find our new left tackle if so, or just try to find our new right tackle at the time. But he played great at right tackle. I want to say he played more at right tackle. So there's that. So that's why I have him at the 4th spot out of all these 4 guys. And he's not as good as the other 3 in my opinion, but he is still a good player, and I wouldn't be mad if Washington football team does go ahead and gets their franchise tackle after Trent Williams. So you trade Trent Williams. I don't think he'll be a Trent Williams. I really don't think there's a Trent Williams in this draft class. If not, other than Penei Sewell. But yeah. Next, with the 3rd overall pick is Jeremiah Owusu-Caramella, linebacker from Notre Dame. I really like Jeremiah Owusu-Caramella. He is great in coverage, even when when the ball is run. He's just a physical guy. He wants to make the tackle, and that's what you love of him, especially from his size. I think he was 6'1" at his pro day. He just absolutely, when you look at him play, great zone coverage guy, and also great against the run. He's a physical linebacker, especially at 6'1". Now again, what does Washington really see him as? They could possibly see him as a safety if they really want to use him. I believe he is in the position to be kind of used like as an Isaiah Simmons, but necessarily doesn't have the height to play linebacker, but does have more of the height to play safety. Obviously we saw Isaiah Simmons. He was a guy who could play safety, edge rusher, linebacker, all of that. And he's playing linebacker now, but he for sure can be used in various spots in the offense, and maybe that's what Jack Del Rio possibly wants to do, and Ron Rivera wants to do. So it would be very interesting to get Jeremiah Owusu-Caramella and see what he would be doing and where he would be in this defense. So yeah, and then the second one is Christian Dareus. And I love Christian Dareus. I've said it multiple times. I believe he could be the best player or best offensive tackle out of this draft, above Penei Sewell, and above Rashawn Slater. And again, that could just be me, a very biased Virginia Tech fan, or I just love how he plays, man. He's a great guy, especially in the run. He's a great pass protector. He's smooth with it. He's very smooth with his blocking, and that's the one great thing about him. And there's a very good a chance he could fall. But there's so many other so many other teams that need offensive tackles. It's gonna be hard to see him falling at 19. And we obviously Washington did have a I don't know if you heard, but they did have a a meeting. I guess you could say, with Christian Dareus, and then he had a little interview with some people and saying, how great it would be to be with playing for his hometown team, pretty much his childhood team with the Washington football team. And that would be like the 3rd year we went home, but we went close to home with Dwayne Haskins, and Chase Young, and Christian Dareus. So I love Christian Dareus. He's one of my favorite. He's my favorite tackle in this draft class. I love Christian Dareus, and he would be a absolutely great addition to this offensive line and be our next franchise tackle. And I've been saying I want a linebacker, but again, if he's like the only exception, other than going, if we don't go linebacker. And then finally, the number 1 overall pick, I have Zaven Collins, for a linebacker from Tulsa. Now, he's great in zone coverage. He's just great everywhere. He is great in run stopping. He's a great run stopping, great coverage linebacker. He can kind of just do everything on that linebacker, just at the linebacker position, and pair him up with Cole Holcomb. I think that would be great. Gosh, my computer just turned off. But Xavier Collins, I think he was voted best linebacker last year, this past year, maybe the year after. But he's but he was just a great linebacker, and he can kind of just do everything you need him to do. So, Xavier Collins, I love him. He's the guy I want at 19. Again, if it's not Christian Dareus, I want Xavier Collins. So yeah, that's kind of like my top 7 guys that could be available that Washington football team could draft, and a little Washington football team big board. And yeah, and one thing is what to expect from me: lots of draft profiles, and it's not going to be at 19 because it's kind of only going to be limited, obviously. But there's going to be a lot of like 2nd, 3rd round, 4th round draft profiles that I would absolutely, players I would love, and players that I believe could be gems. And if you have any idea, if you guys have any ideas on possible players that I could go ahead and look at for a possible gem for the Washington football team, go ahead and put that in the comments down below. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Peace.